Welcome back to Musical Musings. I'm Cal.
I'm Jack.
And I'm Jamie.
That was not the order that we usually agreed on.
I'm so sorry.
He cut me off.
I cut you off. I'm
Say?
sorry.
Jack got really excited.
Jamie was supposed to, you know what? You know why I did it? It's because if I waited for her, I would have laughed. So I'm like, let me just get this out of the way. But I'm sorry. I apologize. If
you guys haven't watched our Lamb Lies Down on Broadway episode where we pulled the curtain back a little bit, we suck at introductions. We just can't do it.
Okay, no. Callum and Jack suck at introductions.
That's fair.
Jack and I.
Jamie
is an upstanding professional. Jack and I are like monkeys looking at a monolith. Like, we just don't know what we're doing. You put a mic in front of us, and it's just a mental breakdown.
Yeah. I don't know what it is that's so funny about my name.
I'm just looking at your face. I'm staring into your eyes, like, lovingly, and it's not good for me. I'm just gonna act up. Anyway. So this week was my choice of song. This week we're going to be doing Dust Bowl Dance by Mumford Sons. We'll post a link in the description for you to check out yourself, and we'll see you in a few minutes. That was Dust Bowl Dance by Mumford Sons. What'd you guys think? First impressions?
Well, instrumentally, it was very powerful. There was a big build-up. So yeah, I really enjoyed it. I'm kind of struggling to understand the meaning behind the song, but I liked it. It was a good vibe.
So I'm coming in as somebody who has never really listened to Mumford and Sons, so I didn't know what to expect. I didn't even really know what like genre they are, and so yeah, I don't know. Like when it started out, I'll be honest, I was like, oh, I don't know if I'm gonna like this because like I don't like sad like piano, songs, stuff like that. But obviously, it built a lot in intensity. And it was almost like became this like cacophony of sound, and so I love that. I love when the kind of the music and the instruments kind of build along with the narrative that's going on in the story, and so yeah, I don't know, kind of like you, Jamie. I'm kind of like I have an idea of like what it could the story is trying to tell, but not 100% sure. I think it's about a guy who, well, he said he kicked off his land at the age of 16. What I'm thinking is somebody bought up this land and is now making money off of it, and
yeah, almost like it was like family owned or something.
Yeah,
like there's a lot of history there.
Yeah, like he says his father, he said the father was gone. I'm assuming that's his father, but I don't know. The is a little bit strange, but yeah. And then I think he confronts the person who has taken the land or has wronged him in some way, and I'm assuming he kills him because he says something about he says he's going to get the gun, and then the last chorus is like, "Yes, sir, it was me." So that I almost interpreted as like he's like on the in trial or something. He's like talking to the judge or something, confessing. But
yeah, I had a lot of confusion building up until the end. I kind of got a little bit of clarity on that because he referenced in the song a few times to face what he's done and do his time, but also accusing someone of wronging him in some way. And I just found myself thinking, what did he do to be saying that he has to face what he's done and do his time? And then the last bit of the song, he says, I went out back and got my gun.
Yeah.
So
I don't, and then he keeps repeating it. You haven't met me. I am the only son. So is that just like he's the only son of the father, or
so I'm pretty sure the song is set not in like modern times.
Right. I kind of got that.
Yeah. So I imagine it's like when it says the father was gone. I imagine I almost think of this as like Wild West era for some reason. And like.
Well, Dust Bowl.
Yeah, right? That's what comes to mind.
Yeah.
At least in my mind, the story is like there was the man of the house, which was his dad. His dad died in some way or like isn't around. So now he is the man of the house trying to take care of maybe his mother, maybe siblings, something like that. The only son makes me think like maybe his mother is there, maybe he has sisters, something like that.
Right.
So he's taking this responsibility to like defend his family. And the tone shift when the guitar changes from like acoustic to electric after one of the choruses makes you think of like a crime of passion almost. Like you weren't thinking, you were just really angry, you did something you regretted later on.
Yeah. I think it also could be like, because wasn't there some kind of, it could be like the Great Depression or something too.
Maybe.
Wasn't there some kind of like dust, like there was all these dust storms and they killed all the crops?
Maybe. Yeah, like just hard times falling on like.
Yeah.
Like a string of really, really bad luck for people.
Mm-hmm. I'm just thinking about like the Dust Bowl part of it. But, and then the dance part of it, I almost think of like the dance as like the murder.
Yeah.
Like, you know,
like
the dance.
A dance macabre.
Yeah, the dance, you know. So, yeah, I mean, I think I like songs like this that tell a story, and I think it's told pretty effectively. You know, in tandem with the music. The instruments were cool.
I do really like how the instruments. I told, like, if people want to go back and re-listen to it, what I mentioned to Jack and Jamie before we started listening was to really listen for as instruments get added and how that changes the tone and like how things are being told. Because, like I said at the beginning, it's just this slow piano, and it's almost.
It almost sounds like a spoken word or like a poem.
Yeah.
Like just a guy talking and telling a story, but as the instruments get added, it's like it turns into like a chant, and then it actually becomes this full-blown song.
Like it stops being music for a period. Like there's a point in the middle where it just becomes noise, and in my mind that's reflecting this person like the complete abandonment of thought and just completely giving into emotion.
Yeah.
And yeah, just like small things like the guitar changing from acoustic to electric, the drums being added, and all of a sudden, it's almost like you feel bad for the person who the story is talking about for the first chorus, and then once the drums come in, you almost start to worry.
Yeah, you're like, this person's not right.
Yeah, it's like, and like you said,
you get that from that one lyric of "I have to pay for what I've done" or whatever it says, something along those lines, and
it's almost like foreshadowing.
Yeah. I'd be curious to see if the band has given like listeners any insight onto what the story of this song is, and if it's based on a real event or a real person, or I don't know. I'm just,
from what I've gathered of listening to Mumford Sons, this is pretty different from most of the stuff they do. They don't do anything this like out there that often. They just do folk music, and they do good folk music, but a lot of their music is also, it's telling stories rather than having deeper meaning. Like last week we did Landslide, which is a very personal human story.
Yeah.
This sounds more like, a personal feeling. This feels more almost like The Lamb Lies Down on Broadway in a way of like, I can visualize this really easily, but this isn't necessarily reflecting human feeling that much. It's kind of just, watching something.
It's just a story. Yeah. It's just a narrative. Yeah.
Yeah. I feel like you can visualize it very clearly as you listen, especially if you have the lyrics right in front of you. Like it's plain as day how the story is playing out.
Yeah. There are a few other Mumford Sons songs that do this. Like The Cave is kind of like that, but it's not really a coherent story.
Okay.
Babel does that.
Where are they from? Because I noticed the singer had some kind of an accent.
I don't know if he's
like Irish or something.
I don't even know if they're English.
Maybe I'm just
they might be English.
I heard an accent.
There's definitely some underlying accent.
Yeah.
It's kind of hard to tell in a song, but this song specifically, like I said, it's almost starts off as like talking and telling a story more than singing. So it's definitely apparent in this song.
They are British. They're from London, which explains why I couldn't tell they had an accent, because I'm really bad at distinguishing English accents. So.
Yeah, I like the song. Like I said, I approached with some, trepidation when the song started. I was like, I'm not gonna like this, but then I was like, actually it's pretty cool. I liked how it, I like the storytelling element. I like the building of intensity, and so I don't know, maybe you expose me to more Mumford Sons at some point.
Not all of the music is like it, but I was like this. But
I was gonna say I've listened to some of their stuff. I want to say I've never heard this particular song, and it's definitely not what I was expecting going into this episode, because I have heard some of their stuff before, and it's a little bit more out there than what I've heard from them. So and even, it's nice that they have that diverse range, though.
I think the weirdest song, and Jack will like it.
It's not one of the more popular songs. A lot of the music isn't super like this one. It's not a song that you want to listen to often. Like, it's not catchy. It's just...
Yeah.
It's very much a mood kind of song. And they don't, as far as I know, they don't play this live super often. I saw them live and they played most of the album, the songs off, and they didn't play this one.
Yeah, it's a good... I could definitely see this as being a great song as part of an album.
Yes.
You know? And I think it was the
second last one.
Yeah,
and I can't remember what the last song is like. I'm going to have to listen to this whole album again and kind of see how it interconnects. Because I do think Mumford Sons they aren't like Genesis with like the whole album is one story, but they do have a feeling throughout it and kind of like rising and falling tones. So I'll have to listen to Sigh No More again. If anybody else wants to listen to the album this is off of, it is Sigh No More by Mumford Sons, the first album they released. Is there anything else?
No, I mean, I think that it was a good pick. I think that it definitely... I haven't listened to Mumford & Sons, like, in a hot minute, so I think that this has definitely been a good reminder to go back and listen to some of their stuff, so...
Yeah, there's a few good ones I can recommend to you, so...
All right.
Well, next week is Jack's pick. God rest our souls.
Yeah, seriously.
And I'm sure it won't be too bad.
No.
I'm sure he's learned.
Yeah. Well,
we'll see how long the song is first, and then we'll decide.
Yeah. Guys, it's the whole side of an album.
Yeah.
No.
We're listening to Genesis again.
Yeah.
Thank you for listening.
I was just going to say I would be out of the podcast. I'm sorry.
Yeah, James, we're done.
I think I would be out.
The band is breaking up.
Yeah. Thank you for listening. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. All that YouTube stuff that they like us doing. We'll see you next week.